So it's so great to be moguls. I'm coming to you with an amazing set of upgrades for today, and I'm really excited to share this all with you. And the focus is all about being able to stand up for yourself so you can 100% thrive in the age of AI. This is a very, very important upgrade that I'm going to take you through, and we're going to be really efficient with it today. So tune in and make sure that you receive this upgrade all the way in. So the most important way to be able to really gain power, be able to stand up for yourself, and truly thrive in this incredible age of AI is to understand that whatever the strategies were that were used in the previous age, which is a very different era than we were in, and now we're in a new one, that those strategies are no longer going to work anymore. So we've got to unleash a new level of power for a new age. And we've just got to understand that. We have to get stronger. We have to truly unleash power within us that we maybe don't even realize we have. We are going to have to really stand up for ourselves in the midst of the most transformational age that has ever existed in humanity. And we are going to have to be able to thrive. It's not an option. It's a really important moment. And just like all the other moments in history where humans have made a transition, say, for example, from like the feudal age to the industrial age, where everything changed dramatically. And now we go from the industrial age to the digital age. We in this cohort, all of us together, have to make a transition with our own being and how it is and what it does. And yet, like other cohorts of humans who went through every time there was a big transition from one age to the other, let alone what is the most radical transition that has ever occurred in the fastest level of time. So when we were changing from different ages previously, it could take a long time for the whole transition to happen that we've been working up to for some time now, the transition from the industrial age into the digital age. And it is here and it is going to go very rapidly. So we need to unleash a new level of power within you. And we've got to make it so you can 100% like stand up for yourself in the midst of all this change, in the midst of what is happening as we rapidly transform from one era to the other. We must transform and gain power, and we must unleash power that is within us that we may never have had an idea about. Why I wanted to really bring this to all of you and give you this upgrade is because essentially this human cohort and the range of humans in it, for the most part, have been programmed, conditioned, educated, and basically immersed to a great degree, especially being educated, for a different world that no longer exists anymore and will be rapidly dissolving. We've effectively been trained to a great degree for the industrial age. That's what all the schooling is about, the university is about. That's what so many people's reference points are, and we are firmly, literally now smack dab in the middle of the digital age, right? We have gone from the beginning of it quite some time ago into the absolute midst of it. And it's going to be really important that you are able to stand up for yourself within a sea of rapid change and incredibly rapid transformation that is beyond our comprehension. And to be able to do that within your own self, within you to you, where you might feel such stress and difficulty and things like that, that you might not do for yourself what you need to do. So you've got to stand up for yourself to your own self. And it's also important that you stand up for yourself in what it is that you need in order to unleash this power from within you and absolutely adapt into being a much more emotionally stronger version of yourself, a much more intentional version of yourself, a more forward flowing, progressive version of yourself, and just generally the strongest, most powerful version of yourself that you have ever been. This is that moment. Okay. And I just want to tune everyone into the fact that it really doesn't matter what came before, what storyline we have from whatever we think should be going on, whatever happened, and whatever we thought the world was going to be. The reality is that each and every day right now, the world is incredibly, rapidly, exponentially expanding in ways that require you to be able to unleash a greater power within you, tap into that power that you, again, may not even realize is there, stand up for yourself and make a way for yourself in this new world, doing whatever it takes and being so strong and so much more like a mogul, which is a powerful, influential person in everything that they do, and to be able to thrive in a new reality and an entirely new world. The game is different, the landscape is different, everything is different, and we are the cohort of people that must learn at the fastest rate that humanity has ever learned, must become excellent at adaptive rapid transformation, and must also become the most emotionally strong generations of people that have ever existed in the world in order to thrive in the new age of AI, adapt, and be in your power instead of being in any sort of difficulty, and to be more like a mogul, powerful, influential version of you rather than be in a struggle. So, first and foremost, it's important to just get that. One of the reasons I wanted to share again more about how you can stand up for yourself, be in your power, and thrive is because one of the things that I'm aware of in recent times, and it's been a part of the trajectory of my work transforming people and my work in transforming my own self, is to understand that while we all have certain programming and certain sensitivities, and while humans can just feel injured, sensitive, tired, weak, and a whole series of things that I've been looking at for years and working on with people, helping them go from extreme emotional sensitivity to very, very powerful emotional strength. And helping them go from being more of this kind of suppressed, sensitive individual that struggles to just navigate in a level of power in the world to being much more emotionally strong and very empowered, like a top mogul, which is just a top influential person. And so it's a real dichotomy that we're facing because people have become more and more sensitive in this recent times. And yet we need to be emotionally stronger than ever. And what I see is going on, and I'm just calling your attention to so you can make the upgrade, is that we're being required to adapt. And we're just on that edge. We are the transitional cohort, and there's been plenty of them in human history where some cohorts got to just cruise along and they were just smack dab in the middle of, say, the industrial age, and that's just how it was. And they just adapted steadily and steadily, and then technology came slowly and slowly, and we saw that with like the television, the printing press, and the radio, then the television, and then the phone, and all the long gaps in between that. Then the internet, then social media, or the iPhone, the smartphones, phones, internet, smartphones, and then social media, and then everything that flowed after that. So we can see that the most rapid pace of transformation, digital innovative creation is here, and literally multiple times a day, new technologies are being released. It is a absolute new world. And so in these kind of moments, the way evolution works, that we want to be aware of, is that it selects for the strongest people who are the most adaptive, who are the most capable of adaptation, change, learning, growth, and just at the bottom line of it, transformation. And it also selects out people who are not capable of that, and they struggle and they have difficulty, and it's brutal. And that's what's happening in this moment of time. And if we understand that, rather than go into the like understandable experience of feeling afraid or feeling overwhelmed or feeling any number of things that could make you feel like a victim of reality, it's the understanding that if there were ever a time in your life to get stronger, more intentional, and to stand up for yourself and to truly focus on adapting, unleashing more power from within yourself, leaning into what makes you feel powerful so you can thrive in this new age of AI, this is the moment, right? Because it's a head spinning level of new stuff that we need to know, and we don't have time anymore for anything that makes us feel small, weak, and takes our power away and is just a distraction. I want to add to this a little bit more, which is that for everyone to understand that it is understandable, and I personally do empathize with what this kind of transition in this world is from the industrial age to the digital age. What that literally means for the human system, which is built for another world. What it means for us all to have to adapt. And how strong we need to be when the other part of the equation that is pretty brutal, and we can change it, is that we've been programmed for a long time by the system, the power structure, to be weak, to be submissive, to be suppressed, to follow some prescription of being a good girl and a good boy. We have been programmed for a very long time into a weaker state of being. We've been programmed into being at the time we need to be the strongest. We've been programmed into being the cohort of humanity that, while on the cutting edge of the greatest innovative age that has ever existed, we are also having this unprecedented moment occur while we are the most mentally unwell cohort of humanity, addicted, weaker, sick, sensitive, traumatized, and just all out miserable, depressed, suicidal cohort of people that are so beat down by a system that's been programming them into submissive sheep to follow a system, like let's just say the education system, let alone the whole thing. So let's just say follow an education system that is literally for another age that doesn't exist anymore. To follow a healthcare system that doesn't work. To follow a financial system that is corrupt, broken, behind, and thank God is changing into a new revolutionary digital age of currency. We have literally been programmed to mostly be okay at doing the old system. When a new system is here, it's been coming in for a long time now, and it's going to go full force on hyperspeed. So at a time when a tiny fraction of the population is feeling very powerful and most of the mass population is feeling completely disempowered and having all these struggles, we are now being called to stand up for ourselves, adapt, transform, and become the most major, powerful, influential moguls that we can possibly be. And this, my friends, my mogul friends, is the only option. There is no other option in order to survive the age of AI and thrive in it. So I'm just connecting you to the truth of that reality, because in this moment of time, we've got to really get powerful, get our wits about us. We've got to know what's going on. We've got to be mentally sharper, clearer, healthier. We've got to be more strategic than ever, and we've got to be able to play a new video game with entirely new rules, even though nobody taught you how to play the old one. You just were kind of getting by. And we've got to unleash our power, stand up for ourselves, claim our role, and be able to thrive in this age, all at a time when most people would just as soon check out, take a nap, exit the situation, self-medicate, and just at a time where people feel like there's no other gear they could go into. The truth is, there is a whole level of power to unleash within yourself that will happen because you understand that whatever was occurring in the previous era, there was some sort of room, bandwidth, if you will, wiggle room that people experienced and used to be more of a child self, even if they were in an adult body. To do a lot of things that were unproductive, dysfunctional, distracting, and people that I observed, which I tried my whole life to be like, dude, you gotta get up, you gotta upgrade. But people who like just freaking ignored all the signals for themselves to change, let themselves go, let themselves be uneducated, uninformed, unaware, and people that I personally know that were in the system that I came up in that just like let themselves go and did the opposite of becoming a completely upgraded, highly educated, transformable person. And when I say educated, you don't need to go to a university. You could be getting education in any way. But people who just like put their head in the sand and just checked out and did a bunch of nonsense. And while I appreciate going and doing a bunch of different things, I've done a lot of fun things in life. Most people are wasting a lot of time, and most people are underestimating and have underestimated what they need to be doing to upgrade themselves. And the moment is here where the rubber meets the road, and everyone in the world is going to have to face whatever it is they have to do to grow. And I'm here to help you unleash your power within so you can stand up for yourself, do it, and thrive. So, whether it's engaging in a bunch of bullshit drama, whether it's hanging out with people that are going nowhere, whether it's enabling dysfunctional family relationships with people that you would never be friends with or connect with if you weren't related to them or enable what you're enabling. Whether it's a relationship that is not right for you, food that isn't good for you, or any way, shape, or form that you are literally putting yourself into some other position than your most powerful self that can completely stand strong in the face of the biggest level of learning, adapting, and growing and thriving that humans will ever have to do to this point. So, even when I think about something that I'll share that I'm changing, understanding certain behavior, certain programming, and then behavior that's been programmed into me by society, and then programming that expresses itself and is no longer going to cut it, is, for example, something where, I engage in some kind of experience. I'm going to use an example right now, which is like I hire someone to work on something for me. Let's call it an accountant, just for sake of simplicity. And that person, and you can apply this to any situation in your life, any service provider, anything in your life where you're supposed to, engaging in an experience. And that person doesn't do what they're supposed to do, doesn't do it in the time they're supposed to do it, doesn't do it in the way they're supposed to do it, makes excuses, puts stuff in my life, in some other version of what it is that it's supposed to be. And where, for example, in the past, I was programmed, even though I would say something and communicate and things like that, I was programmed to let those kind of things sort of slide to some degree and be more of this like compliant person, or the way that a lot of people are programmed, and particularly females are programmed to be like the good girl, right? Or the good boy, where people don't say anything, they let things go, they just participate in bullshit because we don't want someone to be upset with us. We don't want someone to think badly of us. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want this or that. And what I'm here to say, moguls, is I invite you to catch yourself, notice and catch yourself engaging in those kind of circumstances where you're lowering your power, you're giving it away, you're letting somebody in your life do something that's not productive for you. And where in the past you would not have stood in your power, stood up for yourself, either taken action, a significant, clear, and super mogul level badass way to be like, listen, this is how it's going. And where you might have just been in some people pleasing kind of level, some version that of yourself that weakens you. I really invite you to notice where that is. Could be anything that you're doing. Any sort of behavior like that that lowers your self into something less than your most powerful self. And I invite you to change it. And what that means, which is kind of nuanced, and I will say also, I say especially, I don't know why it is, I only know being a woman, so we all are, and especially females are programmed to be so submissive, so suppressed, and everybody's programmed to be just letting everything slide, and people getting away with all kinds of things on your watch, including you and how you conduct yourself for your own self. And the reality is that none of that is going to fly anymore. And no longer do we get to act as infants, toddlers, children, even though we've definitely all been traumatized by a system that suppresses us into being emotional children. And more so, we must make the transformation to the strongest version of ourselves that can stand up for ourselves, that can take care of business, that can learn what we need to learn, say what we need to say, tackle things we need to tackle, take care of business when people are jacking up our stuff, be whatever we need to be, which is which this is not about being some persona of a strong person who's like feeling weak internally but then acting powerful, which doesn't come off very well. That comes off more like cray cray or just overly reactive. But more so, we must get contained and self-possessed in our strength and commitment to be in a level of power we've never been in before, a level of solidness and stability, a level of self-containment in a way that we can stand up for ourselves, take care of business simply, clearly, and powerfully so that nobody, including your own self to yourself, messes with you and pulls you off track into all these different weird experiences, because you've got to be focused on what you need to do in the age of AI, how you need to adapt, the role you need to play. And you've got to be able to do better than you've ever done before in the history of your life, and better than your parents and their parents. You've got to be able to do better than any cohort in human history has ever done, ever. So I almost said more, But what you've got to be able to do is better. No more stupid distractions, no more stupid dysfunctions. When you know something, it needs to change, it's got to change, and you've got to stand strong within yourself to yourself and with yourself to other people, because this is the moment that is no more child's play. This is the moment of the mogul reality, the age of AI, where everybody has to operate as a powerful, influential person for themselves and their families and their companies, and to literally carve out their new life in the new world with entirely new rules of the game. And it is that moment. We've got to become masters. And I'm just very aware of it for my own self, for the people that I coach, that I train into moguldom, and the sobriety of this moment to be able to get stronger within ourselves, face what we must face in this transition, which is our version that other cohorts have had of like going into battle, tackling something so that a new reality can exist. We're not going to go necessarily, most of you will not be drafted to go, to that kind of battle, but you already, if you are in this world, you are drafted to become a top mogul. It is the only option. And that just means powerful, influential person. The good news is that humans, no matter how they feel at any given moment, when they face the intentions that they must face to create a new reality, when they get into the zone that says, no more frickin' child's play, I'm here in my power, I'm tapping into more of it, I'm standing up for myself to create the new life I need to create in the new world. I'm standing up for myself in every one of my relationships. I'm standing up for myself between me and my own self and what I need to do to make absolutely uh, essential, critical changes in myself. And I'm standing up for myself so that I can thrive in this new world. So all the wiggle room that was once there for this and that and for all kinds of stuff is not there anymore. And I, for one, and I just invite you to this, I'm almost in a way, and maybe you'll recognize that this may be something that you need to do. I'm almost in a way moving through a bit of grief for the person that I no longer get to be anymore, because that person will not cut it in this new age. That person has too much. Let's just say this is what the topic I'm on already is: too much programmed people pleasing, too much, even with my intentionality, too much ability to accept BS and dysfunction in situations that I don't have time for. We've got to recognize that the person that we once were or have been or still may be right now needs to be replaced with our most powerful self, our highest mogul self, most powerful, influential person, our most powerful, influential version of ourselves, to ourselves and others. And that we must retire that old version of ourselves that was meant for a different time, a different age. The industrial age is literally collapsing and dissolving as we speak. And we are to get on board the new reality, to land on the new island, to start to conquer it, tackle it, and recognize that it is, it's its own version of the Hunger Games. And everybody must be on their toes, on their game, masters of the game, And it's just that moment, and I invite you to rise up into it. So my invitation is for you to unleash your power, tap into it, invite it to come forth within you. Get buckled in and face the reality of the upgrades that you need to do with yourself and how you conduct yourself, behave, engage in things that will not cut it anymore. Get committed to the biggest transformation of your life. Get strategic about it. Get completely set up in some strategic way that you're going to go about it, because you're going to need help and support. And that is what our Moguls community, club community, is all about. Helping people make this upgrade. Helping people get into their power, and helping people know that at the moment you feel like you cannot take it anymore, there is more in you. And what they say is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's the moment where intentionality for your higher reality comes in, and where you keep facing forward in that direction, facing upward and where you're going and ascending, where you cut out all reactive programming and stuff that just you've thought for so long, like, this has got to go. And where you begin to fully reprogram yourself into your highest mogul self. Mogul meaning just your most powerful, influential leader self, making a positive contribution to the world. And where you also do whatever it takes to say goodbye and let go to your disempowered lower self and whatever that version of you was. It's no different than technology that was meant for a different age was for that age. We have new technology for this age, and humans are literally computers. We are technologies. We are hardware and software. And we've got to make these updates, or what I refer to as upgrades, to our operating system. The great news, everyone, is that human beings are profoundly adaptable, and we can literally adapt to anything. Now, that could turn out to be a negative adaptation if we just continue to do all the stuff that's like off the mark, like knowing something isn't right for you and continuing to do it anyway, knowing this person isn't right for you and continuing to engage with them anyway, knowing something is off and something and ignoring it and waiting for another day. That's negative adaptation. Positive adaptation is growing in the face of stress. That is literally adaptation. So you're invited to go forward in the commitment to become your most powerful self, to unleash that power, to truly stand in that power and be like, fucking, I am a powerful mogul, and I am here to lead in this new world. I am here to be an amazing leader of it. And I am not here to be a child anymore. That childhood, even if it extended way into your adulthood, is over, and it is time to operate as a truly serious person. Not serious like you can't have any fun, but someone that is like absolutely powerful in who you are and what you're doing. If there are limiting beliefs and distorted thoughts and old stories and anything you've been hanging on to, now is the time to just unleash your true power. Let that fill you up. Let the other stuff fade out and step into the person that you need to be now. Consider yourself drafted into the new world, here to pioneer it, here to conquer it, here to organize it, here to lead it, here to become this entirely new self, a new, what do they call it? A new avatar, forward facing, upward flowing. This is the opportunity. I will be here with this channel, creating content, building more transformational programs to help you do it. Myself and my company have been leading rapid transformation and immersive transformational adaptation of humans, going from one version of themselves, a more reactive version, to their most intentional, forward flowing, upward raising of themselves, humans, for many years now. And because this moment, I'm sharing more content, and I'm committed in 2025 to support people who come to this channel, watch this content, subscribe, like, share it, and participate in a transformation that is literally typically costing people hundreds of thousands of dollars to complete it. And over the years, it's been done by the most ultra high net worth or high net worth people, or people that really aspire to that level. And this is coming to you now in this video. And I encourage you to just check out everything else on the channel. So now that you have a greater sense of how to unleash your power, get intentional toward becoming a top mogul leader who adapts to the new world in place of someone that fades out and is left in the dust, which we know you're not going to let happen. So now that you understand how much of a commitment you need to make, what level you need to go to, I'm inviting you to just enter this also, along with the age of AI, is to enter the age of the powerful mogul and emerge as one. You're here to thrive, and that's going to come from a complete and total focus on transformation. It would be amazing to have you comment here what it is that you're letting go of, what it is that you're committing to, and your vision for your future, and what it is that you're going to do. That's how we claim it. That's how we get it going. That's how we go forward. That's how we get stronger. All right, moguls, thanks for taking this upgrade. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next mogul immersion session. All right, everyone, take care.